In my first life, I was a fool. That's the only truth that matters. I was the obedient daughter of the May family, promised to the heir of the powerful Zhang Corporation in a marriage meant to merge our empires. My sister, Mei Hua, the beautiful, beloved daughter, was said to be heartbroken she wasn't chosen. I believed her. I died at 28, my company stolen, my husband indifferent, and my reputation in tatters, all while my sister watched from the throne she'd built on my bones. The official cause was a heart attack, but I know the truth. I died of a broken heart, poisoned by betrayal. The silk of the wedding dress burns in my hands. It's not a memory, it's happening now. The delicate lace turns to black ash, the pearls melting like tiny, grotesque tears. I'm standing in my bedroom, the scent of burning silk and acrid smoke stinging my nostrils, watching my sister Mei Hua through the open doorway. She's not here, not in this room, but she's vividly there in my mind's eye, a phantom from a future I've already lived. I see her signing the divorce papers, the very same papers that destroyed me in my past life. The image is so clear, so visceral, it feels more real than the solid floor beneath my feet. My fingers, small and unblemished, tremble as I drop the charred fabric into a heavy crystal vase. A wave of something hot and powerful floods through me. It's not grief. It's not confusion. It is pure crystalline fury. A rage so cold and sharp it feels like swallowing shards of ice. I died. I was 28, a discarded wife and a failed businesswoman, betrayed and broken. But somehow, I'm 18 again. I turn and look at my reflection in the vanity mirror. The face staring back is young, unlined by years of stress and quiet desperation. My eyes, however, hold a chilling depth, the ghost of a woman twice this age. The woman in the mirror knows things this girl shouldn't. She knows the sting of betrayal from the one person she was supposed to trust above all others. She knows the hollowness of a loveless marriage designed for profit, and she knows the precise, methodical way her sister, Mei Hua, will dismantle her life piece by painful piece. My gaze drifts to the heavy, cream-colored invitation propped on my dresser. Engraved in gold script is the date that once sealed my doom. Tomorrow. The day of my arranged marriage to Zhang Wei, the eldest son and heir to the Zhang fortune. A marriage I walked into like a lamb to the slaughter, believing it was my duty, my honor. Believing my sister wept for my sacrifice. What a fool I was. In my first life, I'd spent this day in a flurry of nervous excitement, attended by makeup artists and stylists, all while Mei Hua hovered by my side, her face a perfect mask of wistful sadness. "You're so lucky, Gigi," she'd whispered, using the affectionate term for older sister, her voice thick with fake emotion. "To secure our family's future. To marry such a man." I now know what she was really thinking. "You're so stupid, Gigi. Taking the gilded cage I so desperately want, leaving me free to fly." But her flight was always calculated. She didn't want freedom. She wanted the cage, but on her own terms with a key she forged herself. The rage inside me solidifies into something hard and purposeful. A diamond forged in the pressure of a miserable death and an impossible rebirth. I have a second chance. It's a miracle I don't deserve and a weapon I will not waste. This time there will be no sacrifice, no misplaced duty. This time, Mei Hua can have the golden cage. She can have the prestige, the wealth, and the slow, corrosive rot that comes with it. I glance at the digital clock on my bedside table. 10 p.m. The wedding is scheduled for 8 p.m. tomorrow. That gives me exactly 22 hours. 22 hours to unravel a lifetime of manipulation. 22 hours to redirect the train of destiny before it barrels over me again. 22 hours to rewrite everything. A slow smile spreads across my lips, but it doesn't reach my eyes. The girl in the mirror looks terrifying, and for the first time in 2 lives, I feel powerful. Mei Hua always said she would die for the life that was handed to me. This time, I'm going to let her. The grandfather clock in the hall chimes the hour as I walk toward my father's study. Each tick feels like a countdown, a beat in the rhythm of my new, vengeful heart. The heavy oak door is closed, as always. In my past life, I would have knocked softly, waiting for his permission to enter, my voice trembling as I made my request. Tonight, I don't bother knocking. I push the door open and stride in. The scent of old books, leather, and my father's expensive cologne fills the air. He is sitting behind his massive mahogany desk, a fortress of wood and power, a pair of reading glasses perched on his nose. He looks up, his expression a mixture of surprise and annoyance at my intrusion. Mei Lin, what is the meaning of this? He asks, his voice sharp with authority. I don't answer. Instead, I walk directly to his desk and slam the marriage contract down on the polished surface. The thick vellum document, signed by him and the Zhang patriarch, represents the shackles of my previous life. This time it feels like a weapon. I won't be signing this, I say, my voice steady and clear. It doesn't sound like the timid girl I was at 18. It sounds like the woman I became, just without the tremor of defeat. Father takes off his glasses, his eyes narrowing. Don't be ridiculous. This is not a negotiation. The arrangements are made. The Zhang family is expecting you. Then they will be disappointed, I reply, my gaze unwavering. Or perhaps they can have the other daughter, the better daughter. I let the words hang in the air. Father's face begins to shift from stern disapproval to outright confusion. He and my mother had always favored Mei Hua. She was the brilliant, beautiful one, the one who charmed every guest and excelled in all her pursuits. I was the quiet, plain one, the dutiful background scenery to her vibrant performance. My one great asset in their eyes was my obedience. Mei Hua wants this marriage, I continue, pressing my advantage. She wants it more than I do. She's better suited for it. She has the ambition to be the wife of the Zhang heir. Let her have it. You are speaking nonsense. Father's voice rises, a vein throbbing in his temple. His face begins to flush a deep, dangerous purple. This is about legacy. The Zhang family specifically requested you. Your temperament, your compliance, they see you as a stabilizing force for Zhang Wei. Compliance. The word tastes like ash in my mouth. They wanted a doll, a puppet who would sit still and look pretty while the real games were played around her. In my first life, I played that part to perfection and my reward was ruin. My temperament has changed, I say, my voice dropping to a low, dangerous pitch. And Mei Hua has always been more beautiful, more obedient when it suits her. She can play the part better than I can. Tell them you've decided to offer your more precious daughter. They should be honored. I'm using his own logic, his own valuation of his children, against him. The irony is a bitter pleasure. He stares at me, utterly speechless. He has never been challenged like this, especially not by me. He sees me as an extension of his will, a piece on his corporate chessboard. The piece is now refusing to be played. You ungrateful child! He finally explodes, slamming his fist on the desk. The inkwell rattles. After everything this family has given you, you would throw it all away on a whim? You will marry Zhang Wei tomorrow, and that is the end of this discussion. No, I say simply. It's the beginning of a new one. Before he can react, before his shock can morph back into rage, I reach for the contract. His eyes widen in horror as he realizes what I'm about to do. He lunges forward, but he's too slow. My hands, which were trembling just an hour ago, are now steady as rock. I grip the thick document and tear it in half. The sound of ripping vellum is deafening in the silent study. It is the most satisfying sound I have ever heard. I let the two halves of my former life fall onto his desk. Mei Hua can have a new contract drawn up, I say, my voice devoid of emotion. I am sure she will be thrilled. I turn my back on him then, on his sputtering, apoplectic rage. As I walk out of the study, the grandfather clock begins to chime 6 o'clock. 20 hours. 20 hours until the ceremony that will now be my sister's triumph or her destruction. Either way, it will not be mine. I feel a strange lightness in my chest, a heady sense of freedom mixed with the thrill of battle. The first move has been made. Now, I wait for the counter move. The scent of roasted coffee beans and rain-soaked pavement hangs in the air. I'm sitting in a small, quiet booth at The Daily Grind, a coffee shop downtown owned by Ryan Chen. It's a world away from the sterile opulence of my family's mansion. Here, the wood is worn, the lighting is warm, and the quiet hum of conversation is soothing. Ryan is behind the counter, a silhouette of calm competence against the gleaming chrome of the espresso machine. He catches my eye and gives me a subtle nod, a silent affirmation that this is a safe harbor. In my past life, I didn't get to know Ryan until years later, after my fall from grace, when he was one of the few people who showed me any kindness. He was a friend. In this life, he will be an ally. I watch through the large front window as a sleek black BMW pulls up to the curb, its headlights cutting through the drizzly evening. The driver's door opens, and a pair of impossibly expensive designer heels click onto the wet pavement. Mei Hua. Of course she would come. My refusal to go through with the wedding was a declaration of war, and my sister has never been one to retreat from a fight. She bursts through the door, a gust of cold, damp air following her in. Her usually perfect makeup is smeared, dark mascara running in faint tracks down her cheeks. Her hair, meticulously styled just this afternoon, is wild and windswept. She looks frantic, furious. She spots me in the booth and storms over, her expensive handbag clutched in a white-knuckled grip. "What have you done?" she hisses, her voice a low, venomous whisper. She doesn't want to make a scene, not in public. Maintaining her image is everything. I take a slow sip of my black coffee, letting her stew in her own rage. "I did what you didn't have the courage to do yourself," I say calmly. "I gave you what you wanted." "What I wanted?" She laughs, a sharp, ugly sound. "Oh, you think you're so clever, don't you? You think you've won something by forcing me into this nightmare?" "I know it's what you wanted," I repeat, my voice soft but unyielding. I lean forward, meeting her frantic gaze with my own steady one. "In my past life, you told me yourself. You cried in my arms after my engagement party, remember? You said you would have given anything to be in my place. To have the prestige, the power. To be Mrs. Zhang." Mei Hua flinches as if I'd slapped her. The mention of a past life throws her off balance. She thinks I'm losing my mind, which is exactly what I want her to think for now. It makes her predictable. "You're insane," she sputters, her eyes darting around the coffee shop to see if anyone is listening. "You're talking crazy. You ruined my life. Father is furious. He said I have to marry Zhang Wei now, that the family's honor is at stake." "Our family's honor has always been a commodity, sister," I reply, my voice turning to ice. "A product to be sold to the highest bidder. I'm just changing the terms of the sale. I'm giving you everything you craved. The Zhang fortune, the social status, the envy of every girl in our circle. You should be thanking me." "Thanking you?" Her voice cracks. The anger in her eyes is now laced with genuine fear, a raw panic that I remember seeing on her face only once before in my previous life, the day the Zhang Empire collapsed. "You don't understand. You have no idea what you've done." "Oh, but I do," I say. I lean in closer, my voice dropping so low only she can hear. "I know everything. For instance, I know why the Zhang family was so insistent on a quiet, compliant wife for their precious heir. I know why they chose me." I pause, letting the words sink in. "It's because Zhang Wei is impotent." The color drains from Mei Hua's face. She sways slightly, gripping the edge of the table for support. Her carefully constructed facade shatters, replaced by a look of pure, unadulterated horror. She knows it's true. She must have done her own digging, her own reconnaissance, before making her plans. "How?" she whispers, her voice barely audible. "How could you possibly know that?" "Let's just say I have my sources," I say, leaning back in my seat. "The family needs an heir, Mei Hua. They need it desperately to secure the loyalty of their shareholders and board members. They chose me because they thought I was too stupid and too timid to cause trouble when I inevitably failed to produce one. They would have blamed me, called me barren, and then quietly arranged for a surrogate. Or perhaps for Zhang Wei's younger brother to step in and do the job." I watch her, my face a mask of detached observation. The warmth of the coffee shop feels a world away from the chilling conversation unfolding between us. "And when you can't provide them with an heir," I continue, pressing the point home, "what do you think will happen to you? A beautiful, ambitious wife is far more dangerous than a plain, obedient one." When you fail, they won't just blame you. They'll discard you, just like you plan to discard me. For a moment, she just stares at me, her mind racing, trying to process how I could know these things, how her world could have unraveled so quickly. The fear in her eyes hardens back into defiance. A sly, cunning look I know all too well replaces the panic. She straightens up, a humorless smile twisting her lips. "You think you have me trapped," she says, her voice regaining its strength. "You always underestimate me, Gigi. You always have." She leans in, her own voice now a conspiratorial whisper. "Don't worry about me. I already have a backup plan, dear sister. A much, much better one." She turns and walks away, her heels clicking a sharp, defiant rhythm on the floor. I watch her go, a small, knowing smile playing on my own lips. Of course she has a backup plan. I'm counting on it. As the door chimes softly, signaling Mei Hua's departure, Ryan Chen slides into the booth opposite me. He places a manila envelope on the table between us, his expression calm and unreadable. He doesn't ask what the dramatic confrontation was about. He already knows. Ryan is more than just an ally. He's my co-conspirator. In the shattered remnants of my first life, he was a private investigator I'd hired in a desperate last-ditch attempt to understand how I'd lost everything. He'd uncovered the truth, but it was far too late. This time, I contacted him the moment I woke up in my 18-year-old body. His price was high, but information is the one currency I value above all others. "She took the bait," I say, my fingers tracing the edge of the envelope. "Hook, line, and sinker," Ryan replies, his voice a low rumble. "She's predictable. Her ambition is a weakness you can exploit." He pushes the envelope toward me. As requested, surveillance from the past 72 hours. My heart beats a little faster. This is it. The confirmation? The weapon I need for the next phase of my plan. I open the clasp and slide out a series of glossy, high-resolution photographs. The first few show Mei Hua meeting a man in a discreet corner of a high-end hotel bar. The man is handsome, charming, and looks remarkably like my former fiancé, Zhang Wei. But it's not him. It's his younger brother, Zhang Feng. I flip through the photos. Mei Hua, laughing, her hand on his arm. Zhang Feng, leaning in close, his expression intense and proprietary. The last photo is the most damning. A clandestine kiss in the hotel's underground parking garage, the glow of the overhead lights illuminating the unmistakable glint of a wedding ring on Zhang Feng's hand. He's already married, a fact I know he keeps hidden at the behest of his family, who find his choice of a low-born wife unsuitable. "Her backup plan?" I murmur, a cold satisfaction spreading through me. She was going to marry Zhang Wei, play the part of the devoted wife, and then, when the time was right, seduce his younger brother. She would frame it as a tragic affair, a desperate attempt to produce the heir her husband couldn't give her. She would have used the sympathy to her advantage, positioning herself as the victim while securing a connection to the only other male in the direct line of inheritance. Ryan nods, taking a sip of the cold brew he brought with him. It's a bold play, risky. But if it worked, she'd have the Zhang family eating out of the palm of her hand. It did work, I say, my voice barely a whisper. The images in my mind are as sharp and clear as the photos in my hand. In my past life, it worked perfectly. I can see it all, the next 6 months unfolding like a horror film I'm forced to rewatch. Mei Hua, after her marriage to Zhang Wei, would have discovered his secret. She would have feigned devastation, then a steely resolve to do her duty. Then would come the carefully orchestrated affair with Zhang Feng. She would accidentally let a servant see them, plant seeds of doubt in the family matriarch's mind, and then the master stroke. She would announce she was pregnant. The Zhang family, desperate for an heir, would have been thrown into chaos. But Mei Hua would have controlled the narrative. She would have presented herself as a tragic heroine, forced into an impossible situation. With the family distracted by the internal drama, she would have started siphoning funds, manipulating stocks, and feeding inside information to her own secret contacts. Zhang Feng, blinded by his infatuation and her promises of a shared future, would have been her unwitting pawn. I close my eyes, the memory of the headlines burning behind my eyelids. Zhang Corporation declares bankruptcy. Insider trading scandal rocks the financial world. Zhang Er dead in apparent suicide. Zhang Wei, unable to handle the shame and the collapse of his family's legacy, had driven his car off a bridge. Mei Hua, the grieving widow, had walked away with a fortune tucked away in offshore accounts, leaving a trail of destruction in her wake. And me? I was long since divorced, my own company absorbed and gutted by my father to pay off his own debts from the fallout. Everyone thought Mei Hua was a victim of circumstance. Only I knew she was the architect. I look at Ryan, my eyes hard. In 6 months, if I let this play out, I'll be standing in this same coffee shop watching news reports of that bankruptcy scandal. Mei Hua will have destroyed them all. But you're not going to let it play out, he says. It's a statement, not a question. No, I reply, a fierce determination settling in my bones. I'm not just trying to save myself anymore. My vengeance isn't just about escaping my own fate. It's about delivering justice. It's about giving my sister exactly what she deserves. The consequences of her own ambition, served to her on a silver platter right now. I slide the photos back into the envelope. The midpoint of this war has been reached. My initial goal was simply to get out of the way, to let Mei Hua have the marriage that would have been her undoing. But seeing the evidence of her treachery laid out before me, knowing the full scope of her ruthlessness, has changed my calculus. It's not enough to simply survive. I have to win. And winning means exposing her completely and utterly. I won't wait 6 months to strike back, I say to Ryan, my voice ringing with a newfound conviction. I'm going to end this tonight. He raises an eyebrow, intrigued. What's the plan? The Zhang family is hosting a pre-wedding dinner for their most important relatives and business partners tonight, I say, a cold, sharp plan forming in my mind. A final celebration before the union of our two great families. I pick up the envelope, its weight feeling solid and real in my hand. I think it's time someone gave them a wedding gift they'll never forget. The Zhang family mansion is a monument to old money and quiet arrogance. It stands on a hill overlooking the city, a fortress of granite and glass, where deals are made and dynasties are secured. The air inside is thick with the scent of lilies and expensive perfume, and the low murmur of polite conversation is punctuated by the clinking of crystal glasses. I walk through the grand foyer, my simple black dress a stark contrast to the glittering gowns and bespoke suits of the other guests. I am not on the guest list, but the guards at the gate, recognizing me as the intended bride, let me pass without a word. They will regret that decision. My heels echo on the marble floor as I enter the main dining room. The entire Zhang clan is here, gathered around a long, banquet-sized table. At its head sits the patriarch, Mr. Zhang, a man whose face looks like it was carved from stone. Beside him is my former fiancé, Zhang Wei, looking pale and nervous. The rest of the family, uncles, aunts, and cousins, are arranged down the length of the table, their faces a gallery of wealth and privilege. Every head turns as I enter. A shocked silence descends upon the room, so profound that I can hear the fizzing of the champagne in someone's glass. My father, who is seated near the patriarch, looks as if he's seen a ghost. His face pales, then flushes with a dark, angry red. He thought he had me under control, that my earlier outburst was a temporary tantrum. He was wrong. I ignore him. My focus is entirely on the man at the head of the table. I walk with a slow, deliberate grace, my gaze locked on Mr. Zhang. I stop directly behind my empty seat, the place of honor reserved for the bride-to-be. Mei Lin, the patriarch says, his voice a low growl. This is a private family dinner. You are not welcome. I understand, I reply, my voice calm and clear, ringing through the silent room. But I came to deliver a wedding gift. I felt it couldn't wait until tomorrow. I reach into my clutch and pull out the manila envelope. I can feel every eye in the room on me, 100 pinpricks of curiosity and disapproval. I walk to the head of the table and place the envelope directly in front of the patriarch, my movements smooth and unhurried. I believe you should know what kind of woman is joining your family tomorrow, I say, my voice laced with a cold, sharp edge. Mr. Zhang stares at the envelope, then up at me, his eyes filled with suspicion. He hesitates for a moment, then slowly opens the clasp and slides the photographs out. He looks at the first one, his expression unreadable. He looks at the second, and a flicker of something, anger perhaps, crosses his face. He continues to flip through the photos, his jaw tightening with each image. Beside him, Zhang Wei cranes his neck to see. His face, already pale, goes completely white as he sees the images of his fiancée-to-be, or rather, my sister, who is now his fiancée-to-be, in the arms of his own brother. These are fake, Zhang Wei stammers, his voice thin and reedy. This is a trick. She's trying to sabotage the wedding. I turn my gaze to him, a look of pity on my face. Are they, Wei? They look quite real to me. I then turn my attention back to the patriarch, who is now staring at the final, most damning photograph. In fact, if you look closely at photo number 3, the one in the parking garage, you'll see something interesting. Mr. Zhang picks up the photo, holding it closer to the candlelight. His eyes narrow. Your younger son, Zhang Feng, is wearing his wedding ring, I say, my voice cutting through the tension like a knife. He was married 6 months ago, wasn't he? To a woman you deemed unsuitable. Unless he's married to someone else I don't know about? That photo proves he was with my sister just last night. A collective gasp ripples through the room. The revelation of Zhang Feng's secret marriage is a scandal in itself. But combined with the proof of his affair with his brother's intended, it is a catastrophe. Zhang Wei looks as if he's about to be sick. He turns to his father, his eyes wide with a desperate, pleading look. Father, I can explain. Mei Hua swore no one would ever find out about their affair. He says it without thinking, a panicked admission in a moment of sheer terror. The room erupts in a cacophony of shocked whispers. He has just confirmed everything. He knew his bride was having an affair with his own brother, and he was willing to go through with the wedding anyway. The desperation of the Zhang family is laid bare for all to see. The patriarch's face is a mask of cold fury. He looks from the photo to his son, then to my father, his eyes burning with a rage that promises retribution. The pre-wedding dinner is over. The alliance is shattered. I look at the clock on the grand mantelpiece. It's 8 o'clock. The wedding is in 12 hours, but I can already see the future I have created. The patriarch is reaching for his phone, his thumb hovering over the screen. He is not calling security. He is not calling his lawyer. He is calling off the wedding, and with it, he is starting a war between our families that will burn everything to the ground. It's a fire I started, and I will stand and watch it burn. The next morning, the Zhang family mansion is not a scene of joyful wedding preparations, but a battlefield. The air, which should have been filled with the scent of flowers and the sound of music, is instead thick with rage and recrimination. 3 generations of both the Mei and Zhang families are gathered in the marble foyer, their voices echoing in the cavernous space. The elaborate floral arrangements and silk draperies, meant for a celebration, now look like decorations for a funeral. And in the center of it all, standing between our 2 warring families, is Mei Hua. She is wearing her wedding dress. It's a magnificent creation of satin and pearls, a custom-made gown that cost more than a luxury car. She had it rushed here this morning, a desperate theatrical gesture. She looks like a tragic bride, a beautiful victim caught in the crossfire. But I know better. She is a soldier in her own war, and this is her last stand. My father is shouting, his face purple with fury, denying any knowledge of Mei Hua's deceit. The Zhang patriarch is shouting back, accusing our family of a deliberate, malicious plot to infiltrate and destroy his. It's chaos, it's beautiful. I stand apart from it all, a calm island in a sea of fury. I've been waiting for this moment. As the shouting reaches a crescendo, Mei Hua turns her tear-streaked face to me, her eyes burning with a hatred so pure, it's almost incandescent. You did this, she screams, her voice raw with emotion. You destroyed my life. You ruined everything. The foyer falls silent. All eyes turn to us. This is the confrontation they've all been waiting for. Your life, I ask, my voice quiet but carrying in the sudden stillness. I destroyed your life? Don't be so dramatic, sister. I'm just giving you what you gave me. I take a step toward her, my gaze locked on hers. For 15 years, I gave you everything. I let you outshine me. I let you take the credit for my ideas. I let you be the beloved daughter while I faded into the background. And how did you repay me? You stole my identity, you stole my husband, you stole my company, and you left me to die. A confused murmur ripples through the crowd. My father looks at me as if I've lost my mind. In my past life, you mean? I clarify, a small, cold smile on my lips. But in this life, sister, you chose your own destruction. Every step you took, I knew you would take. Every lie you told, I had already heard. You're insane! She shrieks, her carefully crafted composure finally cracking. Past life? Future life? You're talking nonsense. You're just jealous. You've always been jealous of me. Am I? I ask, taking another step closer. We are only a few feet apart now, the mockery of her wedding dress between us. Then explain it to me. Explain how I knew about Zhang Wei's impotence. Explain how I knew about your affair with his brother. I pause, letting the questions hang in the air. Or perhaps you can explain how I knew about your secret Swiss bank account, the one you opened 2 months ago to hide the money you were planning to embezzle from the Zhang Corporation. The color drains from her face. Her jaw goes slack. She has no answer. The guests gasp. My father looks at her, a dawning horror in his eyes. And what about the fake pregnancy scare you were planning? I continue, my voice relentless. The one you were going to use to cement your position in the family after the wedding? How could I possibly have known about that? She is trembling now, her eyes wide with a terror that goes beyond being caught in a lie. She is looking at me as if I am a demon, a creature that has crawled inside her head and stolen her darkest secrets. You can't know these things, she stammers. But I do, I say, my voice dropping to a whisper. And I know one more thing. I glance down at the bodice of her dress, where a small, ornate brooch is pinned. I know about the recording device you're wearing right now, the one you hope to use to catch the Zhang saying something incriminating, something you could use as leverage later. With a cry of rage and despair, she rips the brooch from her chest. A thin wire comes with it, a tiny, sophisticated listening device. She throws it to the floor as if it were a venomous snake. But it's too late. Across the room, the Zhang patriarch holds up his phone. He had been recording our entire conversation. He presses a button, and Mei Hua's voice, captured just moments before by her own device and transmitted to his, fills the foyer. Her confession, her fury, her entire venomous soul laid bare for everyone to hear. It's over. Checkmate. The room erupts. My father lunges toward Mei Hua, his face a mask of disbelief and betrayal. Mrs. Zhang faints into the arms of a nearby relative. In the ensuing chaos, someone, perhaps a furious uncle, perhaps a disgusted servant, grabs the torn marriage contract from a nearby table and throws it into the grand fireplace. We all watch as the paper curls, blackens, and turns to ash. The symbol of our family's broken alliance consumed by flames. As both families dissolve into a storm of recriminations, I turn away. My work here is done. I walk toward the door, but before I leave, I pause and look back at the wreckage. My gaze falls on Ryan Chen, who has been standing quietly in the corner of the room the entire time, my silent witness. I give him a small, almost imperceptible nod. He nods back. Then, I turn to my father, his world collapsing around him, and deliver the final blow. By the way, father, I say, my voice carrying easily over the din, don't bother making any plans for me. Ryan Chen and I will be announcing our engagement next week. I walk out of the mansion and into the clean morning air, leaving the fire to burn behind me. Some people get second chances. Others just get what they always deserved. I like to think I got a little of both. 5 years later, the pen feels cool and heavy in my hand. It's a custom-made fountain pen, a gift from my husband, Ryan. The ink flows smoothly as I sign my name on the final page of the acquisition papers. The document confirms the hostile takeover of May Holdings, my father's company. My company now. I look up from the sprawling CEO desk, a desk that was once my father's, and smile at Ryan, who is sitting across from me. His own wedding ring, a simple platinum band that matches mine, catches the light from the floor-to-ceiling windows. It's done, he says, his voice filled with a quiet pride. It's done, I echo, feeling a deep, profound sense of satisfaction. There's a soft knock on the door, and it opens before I have a chance to answer. A woman in a plain, ill-fitting gray uniform enters, pushing a tea trolley. Her hair is pulled back in a severe bun, and her face is devoid of makeup, her features dull and tired. She keeps her eyes downcast as she carefully pours 2 cups of tea, her hands trembling slightly. It's Mei Hua. After the public disgrace at the Zhang mansion, our father disowned her. Her name was scrubbed from the family registry, her trust fund dissolved. With no money, no connections, and a reputation that was radioactive, she had nowhere to go. I was the one who, out of a twisted sense of pity, or perhaps a desire to keep my enemy close, offered her a job, a menial position in the corporate services department of my new company. She serves tea in the corner office that once would have been hers, a living ghost in the empire I built from the ashes of her ambition. She never looks me in the eye. Ryan slides the documents across the desk to me, and my gaze drifts past Mei Hua to the city skyline beyond. The Zhang family's bankruptcy made headlines for months, a spectacular implosion that sent shockwaves through the financial community. They lost everything. As for my father, his company crumbled under the weight of bad debts and the loss of his most valuable alliance. He was forced to sell, and I was there to buy. The board is waiting to hear about the IPO, Ryan says, pulling me back to the present. Let them wait, I say, taking a sip of my tea. It's perfectly brewed. My sister was always good at following instructions, as long as she had no other choice. Our tech empire, the one Ryan and I built from the ground up with the capital I secured by leveraging the knowledge from my past life, is about to go public. Its launch will make history. We built it on innovation, on trust, and on a partnership forged in the fires of revenge and rebirth. Mei Hua quietly exits the room, closing the door softly behind her, a shadow retreating from the light. I am the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I have a husband who is my partner in every sense of the word. I have a future that is entirely my own creation. Untouchable. This time, untouchable means exactly what it sounds like. I am beyond their reach, beyond the ghosts of the past, and free.